the incredible, the fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, come one and come all to a film you've never seen before. But remember, folks, no refunds.
Hello, and welcome to No Refunds, the podcast where we watch bad movies so you don't have to, a Cold North production. I'm your host, Ben Reynolds, and this week we watched Jimmy Hayward's 2010 film, Jonah Hex. Joining me this time we have the tenacious Tim Miller.
Why, hello there.
And Patrick, the Law Morris.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Check out everything we have going on over at coldnorthpro.com, and if you like what you hear, leave us a rating and review wherever you found our podcast. And now, Jonah Hex.
Don't do this, Turnbull, please.
Daddy!
Don't do this, no! This mark will remind you of the man who took everything you had.
After that night, some say he was a changed man. That his spirit crossed over, giving him powers that can't be explained.
Jonah Hex.
5 coffins. Thinking you might need 8.
Cut him down!
Jonah Hex.
You don't look so tough.
Hey, Hex, what happened to your face?
Cut myself shaving. What happened to yours?
Always do like when you finally show up.
Jeez, woman, how many men you see in a day?
Quentin Turnbull is...
Don't you dare say that name to me.
Quentin Turnbull surfaced about a month ago.
We want Turnbull dead.
Why didn't you just say that to begin with? Anything new, Smith?
Thought you'd never ask. I take it that means you approve. This is the future.
Future's bright. Can you shoot?
Can you?
This war begins right here!
I own you now!
It ain't much for being owned.
Turnbull! We ain't near settled our score.
What's it like to go through life with a face like that?
Let me show you. Still got that knife in your garter?
They took it.
Still got that derringer in your bustle?
They took it all, Jonah.
Well, searched you for darn good, didn't they?
Wouldn't you?
All right, so each week we all take a crack at writing a plot synopsis, and then we read what Google has for a plot synopsis, and then Pat and Tim try and decide which one is Google's and who did what, essentially. So, and who did it best, basically. So here we go. This week we will start here. Former Confederate soldiers, cavalryman Jonah Hex and General Quentin Turnbull square off in a high-stakes battle for revenge. Turnbull is hell-bent on destroying Washington, D.C. in the name of the Confederacy. It's up to Jonah to get revenge for his family and save America's capital. Then we've got Jonah Hex, a man who had everything he loved taken from him, now wanders the South as a bounty hunter, killing whoever stands in his way. After many years, Jonah comes to find out that the man who killed his family, Turnbull, is still alive and plans to eradicate the entire United States. Jonah is now on a quest for vengeance and has nothing will stand in his way to kill Turnbull. And then we have, after watching his family burn to death in a house set ablaze by the evil Quentin Turnbull, Jonah Hex is left to wander the country living out the life of a lowly bounty hunter. When Turnbull, who was once thought dead, resurfaces, Hex is employed by the U.S. government to hunt him down and stop his production of what will undoubtedly be the most dangerous superweapon the world has ever seen. Jonah Hex rides again, not only to save the people of the United States, but to finally satiate his thirst for revenge that can only be achieved after Turnbull draws his last breath. And finally, having cheated death, gunslinger and bounty hunter Jonah Hex has one foot in the natural world and one in the supernatural. His unusual nature gives him the ability to track down anyone or anything, so the army makes him an irresistible offer. It will erase the warrants on his head if he will find Quentin Turnbull. Turnbull, his oldest enemy, is preparing to unleash hell on Earth and will stop at nothing to kill him. All right, what do you guys think?
That's a toughie, actually, this week.
I'm on a major losing streak, so I'm gonna go last.
I'm going to guess 3.
That 3 was Google?
Yeah, 3 was
right.
Google.
And Patrick, what do you think?
I'm gonna guess 2.
Was Google? All right. Anybody? Either of you gonna try and hazard a guess towards all of them?
I'm going with 1 was Ben, 2 was Google, 3 was me, 4 was Tim.
All right, so if 3 was you, then I was wrong. 2 was actually me.
Damn it.
And 1, if you're thinking that was Ben, it probably was. So 4 was probably Google.
Tim, your skills of deduction.
Yep.
So at least Ben didn't trick me this time.
You're right. You didn't. I didn't. I mean,
in my book, I see that as an absolute win.
That's fair. That's fair. Absolutely. Yeah, my plot was not great this time.
I mean, I wanted to guess 4 was Google because it was the only one that mentioned the supernatural elements.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, nah, Google's not that good.
See, I thought that was you. That's why I was like, I feel like Patrick would be the only one of the 3 of us that would mention that.
Patrick got pretty flowery with his language, though.
He did. That's why I thought it was Google, because they tend to use some strange words.
But I did have to. I had cleaned Pat's grammar up because it was not. He used Turnbull too many times, so I had changed one of them to his.
All right.
Because I was like, oh, or him, or something like that.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty accurate.
This week was, I would say, overall, between the 4 of us, the best.
Yeah. For actual movie.
Oh
God,
not even
God,
close.
no.
God, like the plot. What can we say about the plot of this movie?
I fell asleep twice over the course of this movie.
And it's
I
only
did
81
that as well.
minutes.
Exactly.
Oh man.
I literally have a note early on that I wanted to ask you guys how you felt about the cartoon segment.
That was fucking weird. Like, I get it.
I
that
actually
it's
didn't
based
mind
on,
it.
I get it that it's based on a comic book or a graphic novel. I think a graphic novel. But it was weird. It felt out of place. And they never went back to like, oh yeah, by the way, this is based on a comic book. It was just that one thing, and they never went back to that. I feel like granted, maybe they did in the credits. I pretty much bailed as soon as the movie was over. But
same here.
I fast forwarded because I was curious if they were gonna have a stinger, like they were gonna like they had tried to set up a sequel, but there was no stinger.
I mean, they probably knew what they had on their hands.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So then I like, how did they not notice the Gatling guns on his horse?
Yeah, that was very silly. And how did he only use those once?
Well, then he like went
Yeah.
to the like gunsmith guy, and he was like, "Yeah, those worked well. Got anything new or whatever?"
Yeah, and
that's when he got the like crossbows that shot dynamite.
And then he just drops one of them. He's just like, yeah, I'm done with that. It's up.
Yeah, he used those like once too.
It's out of ammo.
He was not a fan of reusing weapons.
Honestly, he's contributing to global warming.
Yeah. Then my next note was, is that Fassbender with the tatted chin?
Yeah. I forget what actor I thought it was.
And then I instantly had a boner.
I forget what actor I had originally thought it was, but I checked and it was Fassbender, and I was like, oh, well, that's a weird look for him.
God, I love him, though. He's still so charming.
It was weird seeing him do an Irish accent.
Well, I mean, he's not American.
He's not American. That's true.
He is German. So, I mean, he's probably better at an Irish accent than a lot of Americans would be.
It's closer
and he's pretty
to
good
Ireland.
at doing an American accent.
It's closer to Ireland than America is, so...
He's pretty good at doing a British accent and doing an American accent.
That's true. It's him and Christian Bale and Alice Eve are the ones that all really amaze me with their American accents.
Well, I would say that I would go ahead and throw our two most recent Spider-Men in there too.
Oh, that's true. They both do a really good job.
Yeah, I did not know that either of them was British until I heard like an interview with him, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yep.
Yeah. Whoa! Wait, what? Spider-Man is British now? It's a weird turn of events for the MCU.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean the plot is just very weird. It was
boring,
a very, very weird, and it was just like, what the fuck? Like it just was so like they did like a lot of the stuff that could have been interesting in that comic book part, and just like then like we're like, okay, yeah, learn these things about this, but we're not going to really ever explain how they work. We're just going to explain that they work,
that they exist. That was one of my biggest problems.
He can bring people back from the dead, sort of. And then, like, I thought it was just like that he was just like able to talk to him, but then like when he brings Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing Jeb Turnbull back, and Jeb Turnbull like attacks him, or I was like, oh shit, like they're like really like fucking like alive.
Yeah, like he can bring them straight back. Also, if he can bring people back from the dead, why not just bring his? Why not just
because they burned?
Bring his family back.
Because they burned.
I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in pretty rough shape when he dug him up.
Well, yeah, but like if you notice when after he killed Fassbender, he like basically turned Fassbender's body into ash.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I don't know. When I turned this one on, I saw that it was 81 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, fucking
thank God!"
Sweet, yeah, thank God.
No, that's I literally. So then, like one of the like my fourth or fifth note, it was at least it's not super long.
And then it just felt really long. It felt way longer than 81 minutes.
I started falling asleep, and it was pretty late when I was watching it, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to turn this off, and I'll start watching it again another night. And then I watched it literally after I had drank a cup of coffee and fell asleep during a scene.
Yeah, it's... oh, man, it's not...
And it was an action scene, too. It was literally the scene where he kills Fassbender.
And you fell asleep?
Yeah.
This was one of the worst that we've watched.
Yeah, I think the first time I fell asleep was with his first encounter with Fassbender, actually, in that little base thing that they had.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was... God... And, like, that was the most exciting shit there was. Like,
yeah.
I was so bored with this movie. It was like, it was genuinely taxing to not pick up my phone and start browsing Reddit.
I actually had to go back a few times because I would just get on Discord and lose myself and be like, oh, I was watching a movie, wasn't I?
So the note I have before the one that's, at least it's not super long, is for having a great cast, this is a really bad movie. Must be bad writing.
And they just had a star-studded cast.
Like, we have Josh Brolin as Jonah Hex, John Malkovich as Quentin Turnbull, Megan Fox as Lila, which, say what you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. Michael Fassbender
not their best asset.
Yeah. Michael Fassbender was Burke. Will Arnett was Lieutenant Grass. Michael Shannon was Doc Cross Williams. Then we also had, like I was mentioning earlier, uncredited Jeffrey Dean Morgan, as well as Lance Riddick. Like, holy crap!
That's a stacked cast.
And it was just a terrible movie.
Like, who called in all those favors?
I don't know.
Because
Jesus,
that's a lot of favors to call in on such a steaming pile of shit.
Seriously. All right, so let's get. We're into the bulk of the first question, but so each film we go through, we'll revisit these 7 questions to lead our discussion. And the first question is, how bad was it? And it was pretty bad. I would say definitely worse than John Carter.
Oh yeah.
Like, not as bad as Gotti, though, still.
Yeah, Gotti is still kind of the worst.
I don't think anything we're going to watch is ever going to be that bad, but I'd say it's in the top 10 of worst movies we've watched so far.
I'd say top 5, even, yeah.
I would say top 5, and honestly, even top 10. Like, so it's still, I don't know about you guys, but this still feels like a very new show for us.
Top 5 would be like even more, would be more specific than top 10.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, even top 10.
If it's in your top 5, it would still obviously be in your top 10.
I know. If you shut the fuck up and let me finish, like, this still, I don't know about you guys, but this still feels like a very new show for me in like that we're doing it. But like, this is episode 24 for us, and so. We've been doing this for almost half a year, and even if it were just in the top 10, it's still worse than a lot of movies. But I do agree, Ben, it's in the top 5, and yeah, this movie sucks.
Like this, Troll 2, Gamer,
Gotti,
and
probably Gothica.
I was about to say Gothica was pretty bad.
Yeah, Gothica was not great, but it wasn't terrible. I don't know. Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor was pretty bad.
Yeah.
No, because I put John Carter on par with Mummy, and I enjoyed John Carter.
Yeah, I did like John Carter.
I'm moving John Carter up. You guys, we're clearly we really didn't like this movie because we're finding anything else to discuss.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing.
Yeah.
What else is there to discuss? You've got a guy riding around for a horse looking intense for 90% of the shots.
Yeah.
And it's really bad.
And like all of the scenes where he's like out in that field.
So this is what made it bad. We're on to the second question.
Okay. So all of those scenes where he's out in that field, it looks like they're like shooting that on an iPhone behind a middle school. Like,
yeah,
that looks bad.
Well, and like the character of Jonah Hex didn't really they didn't explain it well enough for it to make good sense. Like, it just the cartoon at the beginning tried to explain some of it, but it didn't explain enough. And like, so yeah, like the character, there just was no depth to the character, and so. Like, you have a great actor in Josh Brolin, but he doesn't have anything to work with. So it's just like, what is he supposed to be doing on the screen? He has no fucking idea. Like, it just was so bad.
The character building in this was definitely one of their biggest flaws. Like, towards the end, I was like, wait a minute, he can control crows? When the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, when I don't know that it happened until the crow came out of his mouth.
Yeah, why did it come out of his mouth?
I don't know.
And all of the cinematography and the choreography of the movie was just very confusing to me because, like, that final fight scene between Turnbull and Jonah,
where it's happening in three different levels.
Yeah, I was like, why the fuck are they shooting it this way? Like, why are they telling this?
Like like we're seeing a dream that we saw earlier, then the actual fight, and then the third part. Oh no, the third part was what's her name getting beat up, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I couldn't tell if it was like if she was also fighting Turnbull or if she was fighting someone else. I don't know. The way that they shot that final fight was just so incredibly confusing.
Lila.
It was just so incredibly confusing that I was just like, when it was over, I was like, I genuinely didn't know what had happened.
Yeah, that was definitely confusing.
Yeah, the fact that they were going back and forth from him fighting him inside the bowels of the ship to him fighting near that coffin, like, because
that was the dream sequence that had happened earlier, but it just was like, why are you showing us this again?
Yeah.
And he mentioned it earlier that, like, when you're so close to death, you see whoever wronged you or whatever, and that plays out. Something really obscure like that. And if they hadn't mentioned that, or if I was barely paying attention, then I wouldn't have known what was going on.
Right. So I didn't even notice that. Huh.
Yeah, it's really convoluted. It's when he's dying in the field before the Indians get him and resurrect him again.
Yeah.
Okay.
This felt just like convoluted is a great word, because this entire movie just felt very convoluted. Like, there was no reason and too much reason all at the same time for pretty much everything in the movie.
Well, and like, I feel like we gave Dean Devlin and his writing partner, whoever it was on Godzilla, some shit about how there's actually, that's probably the other one in my top 5. But we gave Devlin some shit about his script and how it seemed like he was on drugs. I think that Neveldine and Taylor clearly have a serious
on
drug issue.
Methamphetamines!
Based on this movie and Gamer, those dudes seriously must have like a drug problem. Like,
and like specifically, like, and I mean, that's a pretty serious allegation to make, so we should be careful about that. But like, they I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that they were on some pretty serious hallucinogens.
It might just come down to the fact that they might just be bad writers.
I don't know.
Can you imagine being so bad at your job that when you do it, people think you're on drugs?
Oh man, I don't know.
Yikes!
Jeez. All right, so the worst character. Who was the worst in your guys's?
Oh,
honestly, I'm gonna have to say Lila.
Yeah, I was going to say Lila.
All right, we're in agreement.
Just because
Lila, she was the only character
nothing.
without any point except for being eye candy.
Exactly.
Yep.
Literally nothing.
And like I wrote a note that Lila's relationship with Jonah doesn't make any sense based on the fact that he's on a quest to get revenge for his family.
Yeah,
but he's not chaste, I guess.
Dude still gotta fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I guess, just like not how your normal like story of this type goes.
Yeah, that was just strange.
Also, what were her motivations? To get out of being a prostitute? Like,
I guess, yeah. Well, and I guess that's like where there was that scene where the guy came in and was like, I want to buy you. And she's like, I stopped working for the night or whatever. But it's fucking stupid.
No.
I think one of the best parts of recording this podcast is when Ben does the character voices.
Yeah.
They are impressive.
Pretty good. Do pretty good impressions.
Of Megan Fox doing a Southern accent.
Oh god, her accent was so bad.
Yeah,
it was atrocious.
Honestly, everything about her was terrible except the way
except her tits. Except her tits, which I kind of hoped would have fallen out at one point, but didn't.
All right, so since we're in agreement there, I don't think we're going to be in agreement on this one because I bet we're all just going to be like throwing darts at a wall on which character was the best / most compelling. I'm pretty sure my character had like 4 lines, and I don't even know what his name was, actually. I'm going to see if I can find it.
That's helpful. See, I'm going to make the case for Burke, Michael Fassbender's character.
Okay. Make your
Let's-
case.
I'll hear you out.
So, I mean, yeah, he was kind of an idiot, but he did his job well. As a henchman, like, he performed admirably.
Yeah, honestly, he was probably the most memorable part of the movie.
You're right.
Yeah, he
You're
actually
right.
got shots off on Jonah. Actually, almost killed him.
He was a formidable
Kidnapped the
opponent.
girl. And then he almost got Jonah again on the during the ship before he got his head decapitated-ish. Which I'm kind of surprised that more of his head wasn't missing when they showed him on the ground there, but whatevs.
Yeah.
I think that one of the problems with henchmen is that they're supposed to be kind of the muscle, and oftentimes henchmen in movies end up being very easily forgotten. Just perfect example, Mr. Hinks from Spectre
Yep.
was played by Batista, and almost nobody remembers that character.
I'd kind of actually completely forgotten about that.
Exactly. But Tim, I think that you're onto something there, because honestly, he was like one of the most memorable characters. He was one of the most memorable parts of the movie. He played his role well. He was an admirable physical opponent for Jonah Hex, where Turnbull was more of the mental opponent for Jonah Hex. And I don't know. You might have sold me, Tim, but I want to hear who Ben has to say.
So I'm going to go with Smith, who was Lance Reddick's character.
I thought about saying Smith.
And
Who was
because he
Smith
had the
again?
single... he was the gunsmith.
Okay.
And it's because he had the single best line in the entire movie, which was, Happy 4th of July.
Oh, man.
And that's literally my entire logic.
That he was an enjoyable
Well, and he did
character.
actually also explain that Jonah wasn't a racist for being
A Confederate.
Confederate.
Which seemed to me like just a means of, like, I don't know. That seemed to me like just a means of, like, oh, yeah, he's a Confederate in the source material, and we don't want to go against that, but also he's not like a racist, guys. He's just a libertarian. And I almost included in my summary, radical libertarian. But yeah, I don't know. Smith was cool. I was going to say Turnbull, but I think Tim convinced me for Burke.
Yeah, I mean, Tim's argument is a lot more convincing than mine.
Well, when you say that, I do think it's unanimous.
Yeah.
First time it's been unanimous for both of them.
It's true. It's true. It is a first. It's a first.
Wow,
All
it took
right.
a really shitty movie to bring that out of us, but it happened.
Really pried it out of our
It'll be really impressive if it, because like we've had two situations where we've all unanimously come to the same conclusion on worst. It'll be like awesome the day that we literally all come to the table with the same worst and the same best.
Yeah, definitely.
And don't even have to make any arguments. That'll be the real day to talk about.
Yeah.
All right.
Eventually.
Eventually, exactly. So, our next question is, was it so bad it was good?
No.
No, not at all.
Fuck
No.
no.
Just
Fuck
bad.
no.
This movie was terrible.
It lives in the realm of bad.
Avoid this movie at all costs, people.
Would it have been better as a Netflix / HBO series?
Possibly?
Maybe. I don't know.
Actually, I'm going to say yes, because it was pretty low
Intriguing.
budget. B, there was some stuff that was in the source that was very obviously in the source material that they didn't have time to go into in a movie.
I actually don't know how much of that from stuff that I read on Wikipedia. I don't know how much of the stuff that they added was in the source material, but I don't know that well.
Oh, okay. I mean, even if they were to just flesh out the stuff that they established in the movie, like that whole scene, the animated scene at the beginning, I feel like could have been 2 30-minute episodes. I'm not saying make this like a full 2 seasons, 3 seasons, but
miniseries.
Make it like 8 or like 6 30-minute episodes.
Honestly, I could see it even being made into like an animated short, kind of like what they did with Castlevania earlier last year. So, like, I think that would do well for it because it would actually allow them to elaborate on the comic book style a bit more. But other than that, I can't really see it going anywhere.
Yeah. All right, so finally, our last question is, would it have been better with John Cena? And I think the answer is resoundingly no, because the movie had an incredibly good cast and was still terrible. The movie had Michael Fassbender as a milk-drinking Irishman, and it was still bad.
I don't know. I would have liked to see a 5-knuckle shuffle on Jonah Hex.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say yes, just because I'm not sure, like, at some point, it's just, like, really add anything and it's going to make it better. Like, anything good will make it better.
But that's the thing.
There's so much good already there, and it's still so bad.
Exactly. I'm kind of with Ben on this one. I don't think that even adding him would have added much to what was barely a movie to begin with.
Oh man, but maybe just for a little cameo. Like,
it's not going to make it better.
Yeah, I guess.
What would he have done, Patrick? What would he have done in the movie?
It's even if he did just make a little cameo, it's not going to make the movie better.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so now that we finished our questions and we convinced Patrick that it's not going to be better with John Cena.
That's always going to be a tough convincing to do, no matter what movie.
Let's move on to our burning questions. So my first one is, what's up with the Snake Man?
Yeah, that dude was creepy as
what
hell.
the fuck was going on with that?
I thought that was going to come back. I was like, oh shit, that man is part snake or something?
Like, give him the rattlesnake venom. Like, what?
Yeah, and then he dumps the shit all in, and then Jonah throws the guy into the pit, and the guy goes nuts or whatever. I thought that dude was gonna come back or something, and Turnbull was gonna sick that guy on Jonah or something. But
I was expecting it too.
I was fully expecting
he was just a one-off.
And
but that's
what?
And what's up with so many people just seeing the Snake Man and being totally like, yep, that's supernatural. We're totally okay with it. It doesn't surprise any of us at all.
Well, I mean, you got a guy that can bring people back to life, so.
But I'm not sure that was super well known.
Probably not.
Just the whole supernatural element of this movie was very poorly done.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just asked him. You can talk to him yourself.
So
come on.
I had a burning question.
Okay.
So Jonah's main motivation is to seek vengeance on Turnbull because Turnbull killed his family. But Turnbull killed Jonah's family because Jonah killed Turnbull's family. And so who's the real asshole here?
Well, but didn't Turnbull had ordered, Quentin Turnbull had ordered Jonah to do something fucked up, and Jeb was going to make him do it or something, right? And then Jonah didn't want to do it, and so that's why he killed Jeb?
Yeah, he wanted them to, I think, burn down a hospital or something along those lines. And then Jonah was like, yeah, no, so he killed them.
Okay.
Because Jeb was ready to do it, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I personally, I didn't catch that, but there's a lot of shit in this movie that I didn't catch.
It was said once. There's a lot of shit in this movie.
During the fight with that was done during the fight with Michael
Fassbender.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, excuse me.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah. So another one I had is, what was up with the scene where where the dog was getting attacked by the random soldiers, and then like the dog just now is his friend?
Yeah.
After that,
Like
he just had a dog after that,
and then
that was a really weird scene.
And then he had a very strange rapport with the dog, because he's like in that.
I'm not even gonna ask you or whatever.
Well, in that scene, he's like, they're just jealous of your good looks, boy. And I was like, oh, cool. He likes the dog. And then like when they arrive, like at the end of the movie, he's like, I don't even know what to say to you. And it's like, do you like the dog or do you not like the dog? This is very strange.
Yeah.
See, I don't even think he knew why the dog was still there.
Yeah, maybe that's why he said it. Like, I don't know what to say to you. You just keep following me around.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can fathom.
Any more burning questions from you guys?
None that can be answered.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of the point of a burning question.
All right, fair enough. Why was there a crow lodged in his throat?
That is a really good question.
True. Why was there a crow lodged in his throat? Why did he... why did he keep dying and waking up in that orange dirt? Like...
Also, why was his recovery so freaking fast?
Yeah, it was a bizarre movie. It was a very bizarre movie.
It's a bizarre movie.
All right. So now it's time for forgettable bullshit we found on Wikipedia and sometimes IMDb.
Woo!
So in the box office, this movie had a budget of $47 million. Its opening weekend in the USA with a wide release, that means across the USA, it did $5.4 million.
Ouch.
So that's an average of $1,904 per theater in a full weekend.
Wait, how much per theater?
$1,094.
$1,904.
Ah, okay.
So almost $2,000 per theater.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So its gross in the USA was $10.5 million against a $47 million budget. And due to its negative domestic take, the film was not widely released internationally, grossing less than $500,000 outside of the U.S.
Oh, Lord. Fuck. So needless to say, this movie did not make any money.
No. Not even close.
It basically made like $11 million. Well, yeah, it earned $11 million on a $47 million budget. So,
yikes!
That's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah. Well, and that's not
even
marketing budget. Yeah. So.
So probably.
Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so probably upwards of $100 million were spent on this movie.
Yeah, close to at least, I would guess.
Well, it's usually marketing is like twice the production budget, so probably closer to 150.
But I bet that since they didn't release it internationally, that you're going to cut that budget down.
That's true. They didn't market it worldwide.
Yeah.
Still, a ridiculous amount of money to gain absolutely nothing back. Maybe 10%.
Yeah, it's still pretty rough to lose to make $10 million on a $100 million investment.
Yeah. So this, like I said earlier, this was the second film we've done, but that was written by Neveldine and Taylor. The first one was Gamer. In October 2008, Josh Brolin entered talks to be cast as Jonah Hex under the direction of Neveldine and Taylor. In November of 2008, Neveldine and Taylor stepped down from being directors due to creative differences with the studio. The studio explored the possibility of hiring Andy Fickman or McG.
McG. What did he direct?
I'm
Didn't he
not
direct
100%.
Street Kings?
He might have. McGee's done some stuff.
Street Kings is
idea.
fucking awesome.
But then by January 2009, they chose Jimmy Hayward, who had previously directed Horton Hears a Who.
Oh, not a bad movie.
But
Never saw it.
don't know why you would choose him to direct this.
Does seem a little bit out of left field.
Yeah. The metal band Mastodon scored the film, which I thought the score felt really weird and out of place at times. But I do like Mastodon, and when I found out that it was Mastodon, I was like, "Oh, that does sound like Mastodon, but it still doesn't fit."
Yeah, no matter how decent Mastodon is, doesn't fit.
Yeah, apparently Tom Jane was very interested in the role of playing Jonah Hex, and he even petitioned the studio to get the role, but he did not get it. But he did get to got to voice Jonah Hex in some animated thing for DC at some point.
Oh.
So win for Tom Jane, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of.
No,
he didn't have to be in the shitty movie.
I'm going to call that a win for Tom Jane. I think Tom Jane has kind of had some bad luck as superheroes because he wants to play really cool superheroes, and then
obscure ones though.
Yeah, and then when he gets them, they end up neutering the movie like they did with Punisher.
Yeah,
but I think he would have been good as Jonah Hex.
Yeah,
I'd say you dodged a bullet.
Oh, definitely dodged a bullet for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been fitting for his IMDb list.
That's true.
Yes.
Probably more fitting than it is for
Brolin.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It definitely would have fit more with his resume.
Exactly. Friend of the pod, Roger Ebert, gave the film a negative review, saying that the film is based on some DC Comics characters, which may explain the way the plot jumps around. We hear a lot about graphic novels, but this is more a graphic anthology of strange occult ideas.
Graphic anthology of ideas. That's
What did he give it for stars?
It didn't say there, but I can't imagine.
-6.
I cannot imagine it was more than one.
Yeah, I can't either.
So Keith Phipps of the AV Club gave the film a rare F rating, stating that the 81 minutes, including credits of Jonah Hex footage, made it to the screen look like something assembled under a tight deadline and possibly under the influence.
Possibly under the influence.
Most certainly, actually.
Yeah. Well, since we don't only watch bad movies and TV, let's talk about some of the stuff that we've genuinely enjoyed watching lately. I always let you guys go first, so I'm going to go first this week. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've been watching It's Bruno on Netflix. It's fucking awesome. It's my new favorite TV show. I cannot recommend it enough. It's great. There's really short episodes, so they're around 15 minutes each. So it's really easy to sit down and just watch one, or if you've got more time, you can sit down and watch a couple. It's really great. It's all about a dog named Bruno, so it's very relatable for dog owners and or people who spend a lot of time around dog owners, or if you've ever even really been to a dog park or been around people who are kind of crazy about their dogs. Yeah, it's pretty relatable, but bottom line, it's hilarious and full of cute dogs, so it's really hard to go wrong.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for success.
Yeah,
and
it's
also
really good.
I'm looking at the IMDb page right now. Bruno is listed as himself, plays himself.
Yeah. It's really awesome. You guys should definitely check it out.
I think I probably will.
Nice.
We'll see.
Oh, based off a short film comedy.
Who wants to go next?
I guess I will.
Okay.
All right.
So I've been digging back into some older shows from the 2000s. I've been watching How I Met Your Mother. Been working my way through that. Not as bad as people say it is, but it's still not great. I've also been watching 2.5 Men. Charlie Sheen is fucking hilarious. That's all I have to say on that.
Charlie Sheen is funnier than people give him credit for.
I mean, yeah, he has a drug problem and
either
stuff.
of those shows.
I can't stand either of the shows. But everyone remembers Charlie Sheen for that one thing. But like, dude had some stuff going for him.
Exactly.
Spin City.
Yeah,
that was a good show. I think Michael J. Fox did it better though.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Patrick, how about you?
I haven't really watched a ton of stuff besides Jonah Hex. I played Red Dead Redemption 2 this week, and I finished it, and that's a lot like watching an HBO series, and it was amazing. Besides that, really the only thing I've watched was like I restarted Star Trek Next Generation because I love that series, and it's an amazing series, so I played Red Dead Redemption 2. We'll go with that.
You know what you should probably do now is you should probably start watching Deadwood on HBO because it's almost like it's Red Dead, but a TV show version. And then you'll be ready for when the Deadwood movie comes out next month.
There you go. I guess that's... Fuck. I guess I'm going to have to. And I also have Veep is on my list too, so I need to watch that.
And it's Bruno.
And it's Bruno now. I think I'm going to actually go watch that while I play Pokemon after this.
It's Bruno. I mean, that's like It's Bruno is like amazing because of how short the episodes are. Like that, it's really hard to beat that. Like a 15-minute episode is so easy to watch. It's like kind of one of those things that's like, oh wow,
yeah.
I like that Netflix is moving towards this. I don't know. It's like.
Well, it's why SpongeBob
also,
is so watchable.
Yeah.
Like SpongeBob is incredibly well contained. Like there's no fat on that. Aside from Patrick.
Yeah. Yep, there we go. All right. Well, that wraps up this week's discussion of Jonah Hex. Don't forget to check out our incredible website, coldnorthpro.com, where you can see everything we do in one place.
What a great website.
Totally.
Listen to us weekly on our other podcast that is about gaming. It is called Hard Reset. And next time we'll be watching Dean Devlin's 2017 film Geostorm. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Dean was one of the screenwriters for 1998's Godzilla.
Oh, God.
See you next time, and don't forget, no refunds.
I hate you so much right now.
I would ask for my money back on this one, but I don't want to hurt them any more than they've already been hurt.